Earlier in the week, I found out that my boyfriend had been cheating on me. So we broke up, which was pretty devastating after nearly 4 years. Obviously, I was heartbroken, but didn't want to burden my friends with the situation, so I decided to just be alone and try to cheer myself up. It was a Saturday, and I had decided to stay up later than usual. Everyone was asleep in my house, so I decided to read to avoid being loud and annoying everyone. I heard a knock on my door and thought maybe my mom had gotten up to see if I was awake or not, which isn't too odd for my mom. So I opened it nonchalantly, only to find nobody there and no lights on. I rationalized. My dog had maybe come upstairs and hit my door with her tail when she walked by, although it did still freak me out a little. I woke up, not even realizing I had fallen asleep reading. Still dazed and tired, it was roughly around noon, and I was really hungry. Having not eaten in the time I was awake the night before, only after going in my kitchen did I realize how quiet my house had been. I checked the garage and the driveway, even the street outside my house. My parents' car was gone. They had left no note as to where they were, and they must have taken my dog, so I assumed they went to the veterinarian or something. But despite being alone, I was sure that when I looked up from the fridge, I had seen a person near my staircase. I was still a little dazed, but I knew I saw someone. I couldn't see them clearly due to the lack of lighting, thanks to the dense rain clouds. But the person had the same shape as my ex-boyfriend. I watched it for a moment, wondering why he was standing there, and he seemed to be looking right at me. Then he walked away and went upstairs. I forgot all about my hunger and I followed him, but he was gone. I shrugged it off as my mind played tricks on me, since I was still a little shaken over the breakup. I was reminiscing about the earlier events while sitting in my room, remembering the figure I had seen, and the entire situation brought tears to my eyes. Not of fear, but of sadness. I missed him, and seeing him in my delusions broke my heart further. I had gone back to reading and calmed down a bit more earlier Then I heard laughing outside in the hallway. It was him, again. I kept hearing his laugh, and he called my name. At this point, I thought he had broken into my house, but I was too unsure to call the police. I simply yelled at him to get out, and then it stopped. The voices, the noises. For the rest of the day, I stayed in my room, thinking he was in my house, thinking he had went mad and was waiting for a chance to attack me. So, I was sure he had flipped out. Later, I heard a thump against my door, like something being thrown at it, something kind of heavy. I ignored it, refusing to open my door and go out. If he wouldn't come to me, I sure as hell wasn't going to go to him, and I was safe in my room. Then the thumping became louder and more frequent. I grew sick of it. If he attacked me, I'd have no choice but to defend myself. I opened the door, and he stood there, looking at me. He didn't look angry. He looked sad, sorry, but also happy, and had a sweet look in his eyes. He held his arms out, and I hugged him. Feeling drawn in, suddenly I got a weird vibe from him, and shortly after I heard him laughing hysterically, my vision began to fade. I woke up in a hospital bed, looking up at the ceiling. My head hurt a little. Noises around me were muffled, I still couldn't see entirely clear, and all I could make out was the face of a nurse leaning over my bed a little, her face filled with joy. She explained I was found lying on the floor in a coma, and that I had been in it for several hours afterwards. I wasn't sure what had happened. I wasn't sure what to make of the situation. She told me I had been lucky. Most people don't wake up from a coma, and they normally last more than a few hours. She left the room, and only a few minutes after her absence, I realized how wrong she had been. I wasn't lucky. I looked to the mirror across the room, and I saw him again, my ex, staring at me. Where his eyes were supposed to be was a sort of black smoke. Behind it, just emptiness. His skin was pale, as if no longer holding back life, and he bared his teeth as he smiled at me. He, or it, sure as hell wasn't done with me yet.